And we're back. Today's video, I want to talk to you guys about how we need to make the distinguishing characteristic not to compare ourselves to others. There's a famous president that you guys all might know named Teddy Roosevelt. And Teddy Roosevelt stated one day that comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. So every time that we are comparing ourselves to others, we're holding ourselves back. We aren't content. We aren't joyful, right? We're not enjoying what we have around us, nor what's in our life in the current. And so we all deal with this to varying degrees. So what I want you guys to do right now is to think about these people that you look up to. It can be a family member, it can be a friend, it can be somebody in your school, in your college, it can be a musician, it can be a celebrity. Who are these people that we idolize, right? And we're not supposed to idolize people, but I think by human nature we always want what looks good on the outside rather than knowing what is really going on in the inside. And so it's a dangerous game we play when we are comparing ourselves to others. What others think about us, what somebody else has and what we do not. So I ask you right now, take notice of who you are comparing yourselves to, and then ask yourself, is this a realistic example? Is this a realistic example of somebody that I'm comparing myself to? Or are these exceptionally high standards that even I know that I can't fulfill? You know what, guys, walk with me. I want to talk to you about when I was 17 in high school. I graduated as a senior at 17 years old. And one of the things about graduating when I was 17 was I for sure thought I was an adult. I told my parents all the time I was ready to move out. I had friends that I could move in with. I had a job that paid well. I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing. We all talked about in high school how a group of our friends, we would pool money together and we would all go buy a house. Or their parents would let us live at their house for a little while, and then we'd get an apartment. And I was looking at apartments, and even as I got older, even into college, I was still looking at apartments. I put submissions into apartments. I had people approving, like going through approvals and stuff. And then I agreed to share an apartment with my brother. And so I was working on all these different things, right? I was working on all these different things, and I kept on asking myself, no matter what I tried, things just kept on falling through. And I have a good credit score, so I was like, can't be the credit score. I had good income. Couldn't have been the fact that I wasn't making enough. I just could not figure out why. And as badly as I wanted to be out of the house and rid of my parents and like, oh, I'm an adult now, I can grow up, I can do what I want. That's not what the universe would have for me. That's not what God had for me. And so I can look back at it now, 7 years later after graduating, and I can see that the reason why things didn't work out is because that wasn't the very best that was for me, right? And what's funny about it is the friends that I was going to move in with, I saw what happened to the friends that moved out and they did their own thing and we were going to get a house together. Some of them didn't do so well at their jobs, or they were let go and so they couldn't pay the apartment. Some of them were bouncing around. Some of them got kicked out of their parents' house. I mean, it just would not have been beneficial. And looking back at it now, I have a much more mature perspective on why things didn't work out the way they didn't work out. So you're like, Ari, why? Why do you bring this up? I bring this up because when I was 17, especially when we're in high school, we have these preoccupied, oh my goodness, like, we have these reckless ambition, and it's good to have, but a lot of it is so unrealistic. If I had moved out, I don't know where I would have been. We joke around about living in a van down by the river. If you guys have seen that SNL skit, RIP to the great Chris Farley, but that could have turned out really bad for me. I mean, I might not even be putting out videos. I might not even be on here if I had went the route that I wanted to go, because I kept on looking at kids where they went to universities and schools, and I'm like, oh, I got to go to community college. I went to community college for 2 years. We had family deaths. We had family losses. We had sickness. We had all sorts of things that plagued. I had to take practically half a year off, and then 1 year I left college and just worked for a year to save money up to put food on the table, because our family needed that help, and at the time I was working on paying rent. When I look at how I compared myself to others, I look back at it now and I just laugh. And it's not my place to always question, always be comparing, always be putting things next to somebody else because I want that very thing. I saw people with apartments. That's great. I saw people move into apartments with their girlfriends, and that didn't end up well. I can name off 2 to 3 people right now, moved in with their girlfriend, or vice versa, moved in with their boyfriend. Guess who's stuck paying apartment bills? Guess who's stuck trying to get out of a lease? We really don't know how good we have it sometimes. So when we're looking at comparing ourselves to others, this is what I'm going to suggest. And rather than looking at material wealth and riches and status and power that a lot of people are chasing after, especially the young men of my generation, we should be looking at skills to acquire. I know darn well that I'm irreplaceable with a few things. People cannot do nearly as good as I can at some skills. And I don't say that to brag. I don't say that to be egotistical. I say that because we need to realize the unique inherent value that we share ourselves. We need to realize that we are also gifted, exceptional individuals. So those skills that I have can't come close. Because remember, riches will only get you so far, but skills are for a lifetime. Developing values are for a lifetime. Enhancing your character is for a lifetime. Those are all things that you want to die with. You want to die honorable. You want to die successful. And part of that starts with learning to value yourself. So how do we stop comparing ourselves to others? We learn the inherent value that we have ourselves. What do I bring to the table? What do I help others with? What can I do that other people cannot? How can I use my services for the better good of this world? And I gotta say this too. We rob ourselves of our destiny through the comparison of others. If my gifting is to go be a lawyer and go into law school, I'm not gonna go become a plumber, right? Makes sense. And I want to also share this with you. For those of you that are watching this like, well, I don't matter, I'm not valuable, I don't possess any skills. Here's the beauty of this world. You can possess any skill you want to if you put your mind, you put your time, and you put your effort into it. Some of you don't know this, but I have a successful side hustle selling sports cards and comic books. Now, a brief side story is I literally grew up sorting baseball cards with my dad. We're talking old baseball cards, 50s, 60s, 70s. If you want to make money, you will find a way. And let it be something that you enjoy. Just don't just do it to make money, but you learn skills. There's people that go into furniture restoration I've looked into as a side hustle. I've flipped retail items. I've flipped all sorts of things and then resold them on a different marketplace. Skills are so out there. Skills are so available to the world. That's one of the blessings that we have, especially in America. So don't ever take that for granted. Now, something that you all might know is that no one on this green earth has the same set of fingerprints as you. How many billion people in this world? How many billion, trillion? And you're telling me now one person has an identical fingerprint. We all have different fingerprints. That's powerful. So if you ever think, oh, I'm not unique, I'm not different, I'm not this. It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle on this channel because those of you who are not aware, I've been doing this work off camera for years. I've been helping men and women for years. I've been helping people come out of abuse for years. I've been helping people maintain healthy relationships for years. And a lot of times I don't feel qualified to do it. That goes back to the whole debate of is age versus wisdom. I know 80-year-olds that have no wisdom. And I know old people that have elderly wisdom to impart. And the zealous young kids don't. So I look at all these other YouTubers that are in my space. And you know how easy it is to compare myself to them. Oh wow, I only have this many. Oh wow, I only have this many views. No one will ever share the same experiences as you. The small interactions, laughs, tears, little food that you eat in the summertime, you know? These are all beautiful things. It's along the line of those fingerprints. When you make that impression into the cement with your fingers, with your bare fingers, and you make that statement that I was here, you own it. You are who you are, and you're gifted, and you're talented, and you're blessed, and you are more than enough. Each second, this is your reminder, each second that you spend comparing yourselves to others is another second that you could have spent building the kingdom. You could have spent building the greater good. You could have spent building your empire. You could have spent building, contributing to other people's lives, and in essence, causing a self-sustaining, fulfilling life that you've dreamed of. So as I end this video, my word of encouragement is this. Learn your identity. Learn who you are. Learn who you're called to be. Not what people think of you. And then, when you understand who you are, there's not competition. There's no competition. Stay frosty.